ICE is targeting criminals. Criminals. Yes, there's going to be an increase of activity up there, and we're going to hold people accountable.
After everything Minneapolis has endured since Floyd, that police chief is saying, we're not cooperating with ICE.
I have a few more clips to look at of Elmer Fudd on Fox News attempting to defend this cruel, inhumane immigration enforcement under Donald Trump. So if you can, leave us a like on the video. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's just get right to the takedown.
That police chief, after everything Minneapolis has endured since Floyd, that police chief is saying, we're not cooperating with ICE. So effectively, they're impeding ICE's operation in the city. If, in a way, you could argue that if they're not cooperating by not taking action to back up ICE, but they're saying, we're not working with you. Doesn't matter what you uncover, I guess.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said to other chiefs of police in sanctuary cities. Shame on you. I mean, your number one responsibility is the safety and security of your community.
This is kind of insane. It requires so much revisionist history on what happened after George Floyd's death, as if he died and then instantly people were just ravaging the street and chaos broke out and all. Like, this is probably how MAGA thinks it happened. Like, there were initially peaceful displays, right? The National Guard was brought in a few days later, and that quickly led to things escalating to the kind of stuff we saw with the conflicts between the sides. Why would you repeat that mistake now? It's almost like the police chief actually has a brain in the head on his shoulders and wants to learn from past mistakes more than you can say from anyone in MAGA, especially when we've seen the destruction and violence that ICE has even brought to American citizens, elderly and children alike, while storming through other only Democrat cities on Trump's command.
I mean, we're out there looking for illegal aliens and illegal alien criminals. And look, we've done operations in Twin Cities. But you know what? The uncoverings of criminal activity that Secretary Homan just talked about just elevated their priority status. So yes, there's going to be an increase of activity up there, and we're going to hold people accountable. We're going to enforce the law without apology. So again, I've told every sanctuary city mayor, governor, you can stand aside and let us make your community safe and remove criminals.
Funny enough, there's no statistical correlation that any of these clowns could point to between a state or a city becoming a sanctuary state or city and then crime increasing thereafter, while actually in most examples, crime dropped, or I should say continued to drop, after a state or city took up sanctuary status. Again, it's correlation, not causation, but there's not even a link there to be had. If anything, the link is with a decrease. It's also kind of funny that the states' rights crowd, the small, limited federal government party, is now the one saying that states can't have jurisdiction to make their own laws, and they better bend to the will of the federal government. Why does this feel like it would have been called authoritarian if Joe Biden did it about, gun laws? Oh yeah, because these clowns don't actually believe any of the things they say.
ICE is targeting criminals. Criminals. So for you not to partner with ICE to make your community safer is shameful. He ought to put his badge in the desk drawer and walk away, because he stopped being a cop, become a politician.
Except they're not, empirically, statistically, just not on any level. You can look at this. It's publicly available information. Why does he keep lying like this? Almost 75% of ICE detainees have no criminal record. Another 10%, a little over 10, 11%, have only minor traffic violations. And it's close to only 5 or 6% that have actual violent criminal records. It turns out when you go into immigration court hearings, hospitals, schools, churches, people's workplace, you find mostly upstanding citizens and not these violent criminals like they promised to get. But when you have ICE zip tying children, harassing veterans, assaulting women, pushing them to the ground, pointing guns at Congress members, I guess you have to try to justify it somehow. And one of the means possible is they're fighting violent criminals and have to do what they have to do. It's just kind of the easiest one. But it's kind of crazy to me that we went from hunting rabbits to hunting human rights violations. Like, how far the mighty have fallen.